Parents and sister sided with my ex in the breakup because she's going through a lot. She cheated, went through a lot more when I shared the screenshots of her sexting with my brother-in-law. Now my sister wants to know more, but I brushed her off. All right, Reddit, buckle up because this one's a wild ride. Never thought I'd be posting here, but my best friend Jake said this story's too good not to share. So here we are. I'm 31, male, work in software development for a decent company here in Oregon. Got my own place, trucks paid off, credit scores solid. Nothing crazy, but I've got my shit together. After years of failed relationships where apparently being boring is a crime, I met Emma about 3 years ago at my sister's birthday party. Emma was 29, worked as a dental hygienist, had this whole girl next door thing going on that everyone ate up. Blonde hair, bright smile, one of those people who could walk into a room and instantly make friends with everyone. My family loved her from day one. My mom literally told me within 2 weeks of us dating that I better not screw this up. Said Emma was exactly the kind of woman you need, and so much better than those other girls you dated. My dad kept dropping hints about grandchildren. Every family dinner, without fail, he'd make some comment about how his buddy at work just became a grandfather and how nice it must be. Real subtle, Dad. Real subtle. And my sister Lauren? She acted like Emma was the sister she never had. They'd go shopping together every weekend, have these long phone calls that would last hours, share clothes, do all that best friend stuff. Lauren would constantly post pictures of them together on social media, with captions like, "Found my soul sister," and "luckiest brother alive." It was kind of nice at first. Seeing my girlfriend get along so well with my family made things easier. Looking back, should have been a red flag that my family was more invested in my relationship than I was. But hey, when everyone's telling you you found the one, when your mom's already planning the wedding in her head, when your sister's treating your girlfriend like family, you start to believe it. You convince yourself that their enthusiasm means something, that if everyone else sees it, it must be real. For the first year and a half, things were pretty good. Emma moved into my place after about 8 months. We split bills, did the whole domestic thing. She'd make dinner while I worked late. I'd handle the yard work and car maintenance. Normal couple stuff. My family treated us like we were already married, always inviting us to Sunday dinners, including Emma in every family event. The works. My sister Lauren and her husband Derek were always around. Derek's this finance guy, works for some investment firm, makes decent money. He's one of those dudes who's always networking, always talking about his latest deal. Not my favorite person, honestly, but he made Lauren happy, so whatever. They'd been married for 4 years and seemed solid. The four of us did couple things pretty regularly. Double dates, game nights, barbecues. Emma and Lauren would disappear for hours shopping or getting their nails done. Derek and I would watch football or work on projects. It was all very suburban and normal. Then around month 18, things started feeling off with Emma. She got distant, started working late more often, would be on her phone constantly. But whenever I'd walk into a room, she'd flip it face down or switch apps real quick. Classic signs, right? But I'm not the type to jump to conclusions or go through someone's phone like some insecure mess. I figured if something was wrong, she'd tell me. Tried talking to her about it a few times. Asked if everything was okay, if work was stressing her out, if we needed to do something different. She'd always brush it off with the same line. "I'm fine, just tired. Work's been crazy." Sure, okay. This went on for about 3 months. 3 months of her being checked out, barely present even when we were in the same room. Sex dropped off completely. Date nights became her scrolling through her phone while I sat across from her like an idiot. But every time I'd bring it up, she'd get defensive. Tell me I was being clingy or overthinking things. Then came the gut punch. I came home early from work one day in March because our main server went down and they sent everyone home. Figured I'd surprise Emma. Maybe we could actually spend some time together for once. Her car was in the driveway, which was weird because she was supposed to be at work until 6. Walked into my own house and there's Emma on the couch, phone in hand, grinning like an idiot at the screen. She didn't even hear me come in. I watched her for maybe 30 seconds, watching her smile and type, smile and type. The way she was looking at that screen, that wasn't work. That wasn't texting her mom or her girlfriends. "Hey," I said. She literally jumped, nearly dropped her phone, looked at me like I'd just kicked down the door with a SWAT team. "What are you doing home?" Not, "Hey babe," or, "Oh, you're home early." Just immediate suspicion. Server went down. They sent us home. "What are you doing home? Thought you worked until 6 today." She stammered some bullshit about switching shifts. Claimed she told me, but I must have forgotten. I definitely didn't forget. She was lying, and we both knew it. That's when I made a decision. I wasn't going to play private investigator or turn into some paranoid boyfriend. If Emma wanted out, she could use her words like an adult, but I also wasn't going to keep playing the fool. 2 weeks later, she did me the favor of ending it herself. We need to talk, she said one night, after barely touching her dinner. I put down my fork. Okay, I think we should take a break. Classic. The break. The coward's way of breaking up without actually breaking up. Why? She gave me this whole speech about needing space, needing to figure out what she wants, feeling like we'd gotten too serious too fast. All the greatest hits of breakup excuses. Not once did she mention another guy. Not once did she show even a hint of guilt or remorse. So you want to break up, I said flatly. I want a break. I need time to think. Right. So break up. She looked surprised, like she expected me to fight for her or beg or something. I just stared at her, waiting for her to make it official. If that's what you want, she said quietly. No, that's what you want. I'm just not playing the break game. Either we're together or we're not. Then I guess we're not. Cool. I'll help you pack. She looked genuinely shocked. Guess she thought I'd fall apart or plead with her to stay? Instead, I spent the next 3 hours helping her load her stuff into her car, completely calm, completely silent. She kept trying to start conversations, maybe looking for some kind of emotional reaction. I gave her nothing. When she was done, she stood at the door for a minute like she was waiting for something. Some grand gesture, maybe. Some sign that I was devastated. Take care of yourself, I said, and closed the door. That was on a Thursday. By Saturday, my phone was blowing up with texts and calls from my family. My mom called crying, asking what I did to make Emma leave. My dad sent me a text saying I needed to apologize and fix this. Lauren sent me a damn essay about how Emma was going through a lot, and I needed to be more understanding. Going through a lot? She dumped me. What exactly was she going through except the bed of whoever she was texting? But here's where it gets good. I called my mom back, tried to explain what happened. Told her Emma asked for a break. I called it a breakup. She packed and left. Simple. But why would she want a break? Mom asked. You must have done something. Or she met someone else. Emma wouldn't do that. She's such a sweet girl. Maybe you weren't giving her enough attention. Were you working too much? Not taking her out enough? I could literally feel my blood pressure rising. Mom, she broke up with me. She chose to leave. I don't know what else you want me to say. You need to fight for her. You can't just let her go. I hung up. Not rudely, just hit the end button. I wasn't about to sit there and get blamed for someone else's decision to bail. Lauren called next. This conversation was even worse. What the hell did you do? She asked, skipping any greeting. Nothing. Emma wanted a break. I turned it into a breakup. She left. She told me you were cold and distant, that you basically kicked her out. I helped her pack. She wanted out. I made it easy. You could have fought for her. She's devastated. That made me laugh. Actually laugh. She broke up with me, Lauren. She's the one who wanted this. Because you probably weren't meeting her needs. Emma's sensitive. She needs someone who's emotionally available. Then she can find him. I'm done. You're being an asshole about this. She's going through a lot right now, and you're just making it worse. Oh, what exactly is she going through? Lauren went quiet for a second. Just things. Personal stuff. She needs support right now, not you acting like a robot. If she needs support, she's got you and Mom, apparently. I'm the one who got dumped, remember? You're so selfish. This is exactly why she left. I hung up on her too. Over the next 2 weeks, the texts kept coming. My mom sent me guilt trips about how I was throwing away a good woman. My dad barely spoke to me at all, which was somehow worse than the lectures. Lauren would alternate between being pissed at me and trying to play mediator, suggesting we all sit down and talk it out. Talk what out? Emma dumped me. Case closed. But my family kept pushing this narrative that I was the bad guy, that I gave up too easily, that I wasn't trying hard enough, that Emma was going through something difficult, and I should be more understanding. Nobody asked if I was okay. Nobody checked in to see how I was handling the breakup. It was all about Emma and her feelings and what she was going through. Fine. I threw myself into work, started hitting the gym harder, picked up some projects around the house I'd been putting off, kept my distance from my family because every conversation just turned into another guilt trip about Emma. Then one Sunday in early May, about 6 weeks after the breakup, I was at my buddy Jake's place for a barbecue. Jake's girlfriend Sarah was there with some of her friends, and we're all just hanging out, having a good time. Normal Sunday stuff. Sarah's friend Jenna showed up late, and when she walked in, she did a double take when she saw me. Hey, you're Lauren's brother, right? She asked. Yeah, how'd you know? Lauren's in my Pilates class. She talks about you sometimes. That's nice, I said, not really caring, but being polite. Jenna hesitated, then sat down next to me. So, you and Emma broke up, huh? Here we go. Yeah, couple months ago. That sucks, I'm sorry. It is what it is. She nodded, then leaned in a little. Can I ask you something? And you can totally tell me to mind my business. Sure. Did you know about Derek? My brain screeched to a halt. What about Derek? Jenna looked uncomfortable. I probably shouldn't say anything, but I've seen Emma and Derek together a few times. At the gym, at that coffee place on Morrison. They seemed really friendly. I stared at her. Friendly how? Like touching each other, laughing, sitting really close. I wouldn't have thought anything of it since he's married to your sister. But after Lauren mentioned you and Emma broke up, it just seemed weird. My heart was pounding, but I kept my face neutral. When did you see them? Last time was like 2 weeks ago? But I've seen them a few times over the past couple months. Past couple months? Right around when Emma started getting distant. Thanks for telling me, I said. She looked worried. I'm sorry. I debated saying anything, but if my boyfriend was getting cheated on, I'd want someone to tell me. No, I appreciate it. I spent the rest of that barbecue in a daze. Emma and Derek, my sister's husband, the guy I'd watched football with, the guy I'd helped move furniture when they bought their house, that Derek. It explained everything. Why Emma got distant, why she was always on her phone, why Lauren was so defensive of her. My sister knew. She had to know. And she was protecting them both while making me out to be the villain. When I got home that night, I sat in my truck in the driveway for a good 20 minutes, just thinking. I could confront them, but what would that do? They'd deny it, call Jenna a liar, make me look paranoid. Number. If I was going to do this, I needed proof. Here's the thing about being a software developer. You learn a lot about tech, including how people are careless with it. And I remembered something. About a year ago, Emma had asked me to help her set up her iPad because she couldn't figure out how to get her messages to sync. Being the helpful boyfriend, I set it up for her, linked it to her iCloud, got everything working. But she never changed her Apple ID password. I knew this because she used the same password for everything, and I'd seen her type it in 100 times. Was it ethical for me to log into her iCloud? Probably not. Did I care at that point? Not even a little bit. She cheated on me, lied to my face, turned my family against me, and had the audacity to act like she was the victim. Whatever moral high ground I might have had evaporated the moment she started playing victim to my family while screwing my brother-in-law. Tuesday night, I poured myself some coffee, sat down at my desk, opened my laptop, and logged into iCloud using her email and password. My hands were shaking a little, not from nerves, but from anticipation. Part of me hoped I was wrong, that Jenna had misread the situation, that there was some innocent explanation for everything. It worked. The password worked. And there, right in front of me, were all her messages backed up to the cloud. Every text, every photo, every conversation, all of it. I found the thread with Derek immediately. His name was right there in her recent conversations. I took a breath and opened it. Then I started scrolling. Holy shit. These weren't just friendly messages. This wasn't, hey, how's it going, or innocent sibling-in-law banter. This was full-on affair stuff. Explicit texts that made me want to throw my laptop across the room. Pictures I really wish I hadn't seen, because now they're burned into my brain forever. Plans to meet up at hotels I recognized. Complaints about their spouses that made my blood boil. Emma calling me boring and emotionally unavailable. Said I was like a robot, and that being with me felt like dating a piece of furniture. Said she stayed with me because I had a nice house and paid for everything. That I was stable and safe, but that Derek made her feel alive. Derek calling Lauren controlling and frigid. Said she'd let herself go after they got married. That she was obsessed with having kids and it was killing their sex life. That Emma was everything Lauren used to be before marriage. I scrolled back further. And further. The messages went back to January. 3 full months before Emma dumped me. 3 months of them meeting up behind our backs, planning their hookups, laughing about how clueless we were. They'd hooked up at hotels all over town. The Marriott downtown. That boutique place near the Pearl District. Even a cheap motel off I-5 when they were feeling especially sleazy, I guess. They'd done it in Emma's car in random parking lots. In Derek's car during his lunch breaks from work. At my house when I was at work, which made me want to burn my mattress. At their house when Lauren was visiting her mom out of state. There were messages about close calls. Times they almost got caught. They thought it was funny, exciting. Some kind of forbidden thrill. One message from early March, right before Emma dumped me. Can't wait until I'm free of him. Then we can actually be together without all this sneaking around. Derek's response. Soon. Just a little longer. I need to figure out the Lauren situation first. The Lauren situation. My sister. The woman he married. The woman who loved him. Reduced to a situation he needed to figure out. And Lauren knew. There were messages where Derek told Emma that Lauren was getting suspicious, that they needed to cool it for a while. Messages where Emma complained about my family pressuring her to stay with me when she just wanted to be with Derek. This wasn't just cheating. This was calculated, long-term, involving my whole family. I took screenshots, lots of them, saved them to 3 different places, my hard drive, a USB drive, and cloud storage. Then I logged out, closed my laptop, and sat there in the dark, trying to process what I just learned. Part of me wanted to drive to Lauren's house right then and burn it all down, but I didn't, because I'm not that guy. I don't make moves when I'm emotional. I wait, I plan, and then I execute. The next family dinner was that Sunday. My mom had been texting me all week, saying I needed to come, that family was important, that we needed to talk. I'd been ignoring her, but after what I found, I responded. I'll be there. She seemed surprised but happy. Probably thought I was finally ready to apologize to Emma or some bullshit. Sunday rolled around. I showed up at my parents' house at exactly 5 p.m. My mom answered the door with this hopeful look on her face. I'm so glad you came, she said, hugging me. Wouldn't miss it. Lauren and Derek were already there. Lauren gave me this tight smile. Derek nodded. Neither of them looked particularly worried. Why would they? As far as they knew, I had no idea. We sat down for dinner. Mom made pot roast, same meal she'd been making for Sunday dinners since I was a kid. Everyone was making small talk, carefully avoiding the topic of Emma. It was awkward as hell. About halfway through dinner, my mom finally brought it up. So, she said carefully, have you talked to Emma at all? Nope. Don't you think you should? Maybe apologize, try to work things out? I put down my fork and looked at her. Why would I apologize? Because she's going through a lot and she needs your support. There it was again. That phrase, going through a lot. What exactly is she going through, Mom? My mom glanced at Lauren, who suddenly became very interested in her plate. She's just dealing with some personal things, Mom said vaguely. Like what? It's not my place to say. But she could use a friend right now. I nodded slowly. A friend. Right. Derek cleared his throat. Maybe it's time to move on, man. If Emma wanted to work things out, she would have reached out by now. I looked at him. Really looked at him. This smug bastard sitting at my parents' table, eating my mom's pot roast, acting like he gave a damn about my feelings. You think I should move on? I asked. Yeah, it's been what, 2 months? Plenty of fish in the sea. That's good advice, Derek. You should take it yourself. He frowned. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. Just seems like good advice for everyone. Lauren jumped in. Look, we're all just trying to help. Emma was good for you. We just don't want you to throw away something good because of pride. Pride, I repeated. That's what you think this is? What else would it be? I pulled out my phone, opened the screenshots I'd saved, selected about 10 of the worst ones. The ones that left absolutely no room for interpretation. Before I show you these, I said calmly, I want everyone to remember that you've been blaming me for this breakup for 2 months. You've been telling me I gave up too easily, that I wasn't supportive enough, that Emma was going through a lot. My mom looked confused. What are you talking about? I held up my phone. Emma was going through Derek. The table went silent, like someone had hit a mute button on the entire world. The only sound was the ticking of my mom's old grandfather clock in the hallway. What? Lauren's voice was barely a whisper. Her fork dropped from her hand and clattered against her plate. Emma and Derek have been having an affair since January. That's what she was going through. That's why she was distant. That's why she dumped me. Not because I wasn't attentive enough or emotionally available, because she was screwing my sister's husband. In my bed. In his bed. In hotel rooms all over Portland. In parking lots. Pretty much anywhere they could manage, really. I kept my voice level. Calm. Almost conversational. Like I was discussing the weather instead of dropping a nuclear bomb on my family's dinner table. Derek's face went white. Not pale. White. Like all the blood had drained from his body in one instant. His mouth opened slightly, but no sound came out. He looked like a fish gasping for air. Lauren looked between me and Derek, her face a mixture of confusion and dawning horror. Tell me he's lying, she said, but there was no strength in her voice. She already knew the answer. Am I? I turned the phone to face her, pulling up one of the clearer screenshots. See for yourself. This one's from February. They're planning to meet at that hotel downtown. The nice one you guys went to for your anniversary last year. Funny how Derek knew which room to book, right? I watched Lauren's face as she looked at the screen. Watched the color drain. Watched her eyes go wide. Watched her hand shake as she reached for the phone. Then pulled back like it might burn her. Watched the exact moment her world shattered into a million pieces. "Let me see," my mom said, her voice trembling. I handed her the phone. She looked at the screen, and I watched my mother age about 10 years in 10 seconds. Her face crumpled. Her hand went to her mouth. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Oh my God, Derek, what did you do?" My dad leaned over to look, and his jaw clenched so hard I could see the muscles in his face twitch. His hands curled into fists on the table. For a second, I thought he might actually hit Derek, and I wouldn't have blamed him. "How long?" Lauren's voice was cold now. Dead. Like something inside her had just shut down completely. She wasn't crying. She wasn't yelling. She just sounded empty. Derek didn't answer. He just sat there, staring at his plate like it held the answers to the universe. Coward couldn't even look at her. "How long?" Lauren's voice cracked on the last word, and that's when the tears started. Not quiet crying, loud, gasping sobs that made my mom start crying too. "Since January," I said quietly, since Derek apparently couldn't form words. "But you already knew, didn't you, Lauren? Maybe not that it was Emma specifically, but you knew Derek was cheating on you." She whipped around to look at me, eyes red and streaming. "What?" "You knew. Maybe not all the details, but you suspected something. That's why you were so defensive of Emma when I said she might be seeing someone. Why you kept saying she was going through a lot. You knew something was up with Derek. And when Emma dumped me around the same time, some part of you connected the dots. But you didn't want it to be true. So you made me the villain instead. Easier to blame me than admit your husband was a cheating piece of shit." "I didn't," Lauren started, but she couldn't finish. Because it was true. I could see it on her face. The guilt. The realization. She'd known. Deep down, she'd known. "You made me feel like shit for 2 months," I continued, still calm. "You made me think I was the problem. You, Mom, Dad, all of you. You took her side, told me I gave up too easily, that I wasn't trying hard enough. And the whole time, she was sleeping with your husband." My mom was crying now. My dad sat there looking like someone had gut punched him. Derek stood up. "I should go." "Yeah," I said. "You should." He grabbed his keys and headed for the door. Lauren didn't even look at him. She just sat there, staring at her plate, tears streaming down her face. After Derek left, nobody spoke for a long time. The pot roast got cold. My mom kept crying. My dad just looked tired. Finally, Lauren spoke. "Can I see the rest?" "No." She looked up at me. "What?" "You don't get to see the rest. You chose her over me. You protected her. You made me the villain. You don't get details now. She's my best friend. She was screwing your husband. Past tense on both counts, I'm guessing. I need to know. You need to figure out your own marriage. I'm not your therapist or your private investigator. I showed you enough to know I wasn't lying. That's all you get." "That's not fair," I laughed. Actually laughed. "Fair? You've been calling me selfish for 2 months. You told me I wasn't emotionally available. You said I gave up too easily. You made me feel like garbage for not fighting for a woman who was cheating on me with your husband. And now you want to talk about fair?" Lauren started crying harder. My mom tried to say something, but I held up my hand. "I came here tonight to set the record straight. You all owed me an apology, but I'm not going to wait around for it. Emma and Derek did what they did. But you three? You chose to believe I was the problem without ever asking for my side. You made assumptions. And you were wrong." I stood up and headed for the door. "Wait," my dad said. It was the first thing he'd said since I dropped the bomb. I turned around. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "You're right. We should have listened to you." "Yeah, you should have." I left. The next few days were chaos. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. Lauren called me about 50 times in 48 hours. I ignored every call. She sent text after text, begging me to talk to her, to tell her everything, to send her screenshots, to help her figure out what to do. Each message more desperate than the last. "Please, I need to know everything. How long were they planning this? Did they talk about me?" I blocked her number after the 50th text. My mom called crying, apologizing over and over again, asking me to forgive them, saying she felt terrible about how they treated me, that she should have believed me instead. I listened for about 30 seconds, told her I needed time, and hung up. She tried calling back immediately. I sent it to voicemail. Emma tried to call me once. I answered just to hear what she'd say. "Hello? Did you really have to show them those screenshots?" She sounded pissed. Not guilty, not apologetic, pissed. "Yeah, I did. You ruined my life. No, you ruined your life. I just showed people the truth. You're an asshole. And you're a cheater. I think I'm okay with how this turned out. She hung up. Haven't heard from her since. Derek moved out of Lauren's place. Last I heard from Jake, whose girlfriend knows Lauren's friend. They're getting divorced. Emma lost her job at the dental office because one of the dentists is friends with my mom and heard the whole story. She found work at another practice across town, but her reputation's pretty much trashed. Derek got demoted at work because apparently this wasn't his first workplace affair, and HR decided to take a closer look at his behavior. Turns out he'd been pulling this shit for years. About 3 weeks after the dinner, Lauren showed up at my house. I saw her car pull up through my front window. I debated not answering, but I figured I might as well get this over with. I opened the door before she could knock. What? She looked terrible. Hair wasn't done, no makeup, wearing sweats. This was not the Lauren I knew. Can we talk? We are talking. Can I come in? No. She flinched. Please, I need to explain. Explain what? That you knew your husband was cheating on you with my girlfriend and you decided to blame me instead? That's pretty self-explanatory. I didn't know, she said. Not for sure. I suspected something was off with Derek, but I didn't know it was Emma. I swear. But you suspected something, and instead of being honest with me, you made me the bad guy. I was trying to protect my marriage. By destroying my relationship with my family? By making me think I was the problem? She started crying. Again. Everyone in my family seemed to be crying a lot lately. I'm sorry, she sobbed. I'm so sorry. I was scared, and I made the wrong choice. I should have told you what I suspected. I should have believed you. I didn't want it to be true. So you made it my fault instead. I know. I know I messed up. I'm so sorry. I leaned against the doorframe, crossing my arms. You want to know what the worst part is? It's not that Emma cheated. It's not even that Derek's a scumbag. It's that my own family chose to believe I was the problem without ever asking for my side of the story. You all decided I wasn't worth believing. That's not true. Yes, it is. Mom called me selfish. Dad barely talked to me. You sent me paragraphs about how I wasn't emotionally available. None of you asked if I was okay. None of you considered that maybe, just maybe, Emma was the one in the wrong. You all jumped to her defense and made me the villain. We just thought, I know what you thought. You thought I was boring and cold and emotionally stunted. You thought Emma was this sweet, innocent victim who deserved better. You thought I gave up too easily. And you were all wrong. Lauren wiped her eyes. What can I do to make this right? Nothing. There's nothing you can do. The damage is done. So that's it? You're just going to cut me out of your life? I don't know yet. Right now, I can barely stand to look at you. You chose her over me. Your best friend over your brother. That's not something I can just forgive, because you showed up at my door crying. She wasn't really my friend, Lauren said quietly. I know that now. But at the time, I thought, I don't know what I thought. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know you are. But sorry doesn't fix this. Sorry doesn't erase 2 months of you making me feel like shit. Sorry doesn't undo the damage. Then what do? You give me space. You let me figure out if I even want you in my life anymore. And you stop asking for details about Emma and Derek's affair. You don't get to know. You lost that right when you chose to protect her instead of me. But I need to know. No, you don't. You need to deal with your divorce. You need to figure out your own life. You need to take responsibility for your choices. But you don't need details from me. Get them from Derek or Emma if you want them so bad. I'm done being your information source. Please, go home, Lauren. But go home. She stood there for another few seconds, then turned and walked back to her car. I watched her drive away, then closed the door and locked it. That was 4 weeks ago. Since then, my mom's been trying to play mediator. She calls once a week, always with the same speech about families sticking together and forgiveness, and how we all make mistakes. I listen politely and then tell her I'm not ready yet. My dad sent me a text last week. Just said, I'm proud of how you handled this. Take all the time you need. I love you, son. That actually meant something. Lauren's still sending occasional texts. Nothing pushy, just little updates about her life. Filed for divorce today. Moving into an apartment next month. Mom's helping me pack. I read them, but I don't respond. Emma blocked me on everything, which is hilarious considering she's the one who cheated. Derek apparently tried to reach out to me through Facebook to apologize and explain, but I deleted his message without reading it, and blocked him too. As for me, I'm doing fine. Better than fine, actually. I've been hitting the gym more, picked up mountain biking, started taking guitar lessons, been going on a few dates here and there. Nothing serious yet, but I'm in no rush. Emma and Derek? They're garbage humans who deserve each other. But my family? They're the ones who really broke my heart. They're the ones who made me question my worth. They're the ones who chose to believe the worst about me instead of giving me the benefit of the doubt. And that's not something you just get over, because someone says sorry. So yeah, that's my story. Family sided with my cheating ex, turned out she was sleeping with my brother-in-law, and now they all want forgiveness. Not sure they're going to get it. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.